Oh, it's the Southern Mallee Giants report, and I've got Coleman Shack who's busy spraying, and he's got hay carting and all sorts of stuff happening on the farm. He joins us now. G'day, Coleman. How are you?
Fine, man. Very well. Lovely Mallee day today.
Lovely, and a bit of hay moving about. Now, they tell me that's because it's just not enough feed down south, so a bit of hay moving from farms in the Mallee down towards southern Victoria.
Yeah, you're bang on there. Don't know who you've been talking to. Bit going on at the moment, so keeps us busy. As soon as we've got our crop in, so keep rolling on.
Keep rolling on, and they were rolling on at the community hotel the other night. Good crowd in, good spirit within the club, despite the fact that you're having these losses. I think that's the key, that people regard just the get-together as the highest component of it. Winning's a really good thing too, obviously, but good to see a really good crowd back at the community hotel last week.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there, Flo, man. I think that's a sign of a good club. You know, obviously chips are down or in the seniors at the moment, but there's, netball holding us up. In the footy, I suppose, bit of a tough slog, but they get to turn it around and get back together, stick together. And there was a good crowd there at the community hotel, plenty of meals and plenty of fun. So, good way to turn it around, I reckon.
Good stuff, and a few good players back into your ones this week. But let's take a look at last week. The Saints came to play 16-9-105 to beat the Southern Mallee Giants 4-10-34. A little bit of a view, I think, that the Horsham clubs and some of the other clubs have seen the Giants as being the newcomers and come into the competition and took it by storm. Now there's just this feel, let's kick them when they're down and let's beat them, and that's what they did.
They sure did, and why not? I suppose if you're capable. So to the boys' credit, our effort and endeavour was there pretty much all day. I reckon we fought hard. We had our fair share of the footy at times and couldn't quite get on the scoreboard. And Saints probably just a bit too classy in the end. Moved the ball a bit too crispy for us. Couldn't quite stem their flow on when they had momentum. But the boys fought hard and had a crack, and especially led by the younger players on the weekend. Sort of Dylan Marshman, Jesse Browns, those type of Johnny Ballingers. Those boys just had a bit more game time and got to work themselves in the game, and it was good to see what they were capable of at times. So they'll learn a lot from that. And like you said, few wins coming up in the lead up this week, so hopefully add a bit of experience.
Yeah, absolutely needed. Nick Denham kicked two, and McGee and Trengo both single goal kickers. Sammy White, good form. Lee Stewart is always very, very dedicated servant. Jackson Tengove and also Zachary Robbins. Good on you, Zach. And Dylan Marshman, as you just mentioned, Ben McGee amongst the better players there. Good to see. Having a look at the twos, for the boys to coming out and running around in that grade, it's been a tough season, and it was made all the more tough when your opposition came out and kicked 17-16 to no score. I know when we talked last week, you were so short of players, it was going to be hard to get a team in.
Yeah, it was. The boys, Turbo and Marto got a team together, and like we said, there was a few older fellas pulled on the boots, which it's good to see those boys have a run around. It's always good entertainment, and I see Nuts Williams even snagged the best player, which shows he hasn't lost it in his years out of the game. So, it was a tough day at the office, and obviously very undermanned against a good Saints team. They were way too good for us. So talked to Turbo, the coach, at training last night, and he was confident of a full list. Oh, not a full list, but and a lot easier week picking the team this week with more players available. So better chance this weekend, I think.
Yeah, good. Damien Carra, good form. As you mentioned, Turbo in great form himself. And Tristan Blair, it's been a real breakout season for him. He's been in the best most weeks. Sammy Fellon and Jaden Cook and Nathan Williams amongst it. Got tough in the morning too, as we know for the kids. They got mercied in the second quarter. They got a couple of scores on the board, which I think was probably the highlight, just getting the ball forward and being able to score against what is a really good Saints outfit, 10 goals, 262 to 2 points.
Yeah, that's right. So Mercy in the second quarter. So I think one positive of, coming up against a tough Saints team who have some big bodies all over the ground for under 14s. The back line, like Ollie Wood, the Williams boys, Maxie Roberts down there, they really stood up under siege. A lot of the they would have had a lot of forward entries in the first quarter, and they're really playing some good footy, repelling the forward entry. So credit to those boys. And my memory serves me correctly, they had a win against Dimbulla round 1, so a bit louder on the track this week, and they'll be a bit more excited. Missing a bit of an opportunity.
Reckon so. Ollie Wood's been great for them this year. Cody Frankel, very good. Jamin Chris, good on him. And young Williams, as you mentioned, very good. And Maxi Roberts is good hard try. Jackson Moore. The Moores are love to see them. Beulah Moore playing in the Southern Mallee Giants. Rightio, it's this week down to Dimmy you go. It's going to be a massive, massive clash. You've had 6 losses on the trot. You've got to arrest the tide. We take it back to the start of the season, as you mentioned there, and in the ones, the seniors, back on that occasion, it was a very, very interesting day. It was a time where your club at the start of the season got a win on the board, and it didn't seem like any of the problems that we're confronting right now, but you come up against a very improved Dimbulla side. Can you match them down on their home deck?
I believe we can, Slow-Man. Even though we've dug ourselves a little hole at the moment and we're 6 down, the endeavour's really starting to turn, I reckon, on the field, and we get 6 handy inclusions this week, although we lose a couple of handy out, which are only short-term injuries, so they should turn around. But we've got, some 6 experienced players coming back into the team, which really strengthens us up, especially in the forward half, which is what we've been probably battling to kick a winning score and get enough entry. So we've got a few mids and a few forwards in this week, which will really help us there. Dimbulla are probably one of the form teams of the competition, and they had to be too, not coming from a -3 games off their score at the start of the year. So they know that they're fighting for that 5th spot along with us. So it's going to be a great game. And I believe the boys have they've been training well, and we've got our goal kicking power back. So I'm backing the boys in this week.
I think for them, they've got this Bill Hayes. He's a very, very solid footballer. Played over at Nil for a bit and also at Bordertown. He's a real gunner. And what about the big man Jack Land? He kicks goals too. They will be very hard. And your side, I noticed that you've got the Fridge is gone to the back line. So you're going to keep some cool, cold back play down there.
He did last week. He got played a full game down there and actually took his opportunity, which was great to see. Obviously, he got a couple of big forwards, so he sort of hasn't had full game time up in the forward line. So the coach has thrown him back, and he did a terrific job and held his spot. So he's taken his opportunity, and looking forward to see if he can do that 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, Jackson Tringo goes up to full forward and Nick Denham goes back to centre half back. Sam White goes into the midfield. You got Luke Marnie back into the side. Tyler Lehman, I noticed his name's popped up. Didn't think to bring him back through the 2s, straight into the 1s.
Yes, it's hard to imagine him coming through the 2s, but he's some much needed grunt in the midfield. He gives us first use of the footy, puts his head over it. So against a good Dimbulla midfield who've got some solid bodies in there, he's exactly what we need in the guts.
Yeah, right in the guts. That's right. He might take a couple in that direction too from the Dimmy midfield. It's going to be a beauty, that is for sure. I reckon that, would you believe, even though it's away, I think you can turn your season around. I haven't had the confidence the past 6 weeks to tip you, and had a feeling that you were going to go through that bad patch, but you've got some players back, and certainly, hopefully, with another week under their belt, you'll be able to score a win. The reserves want to come out firing here, because they want to give the seniors a bit of a rev up. They've got to Dimbulla, and of course Dimbulla in the reserve competition are below you. They're at the bottom of the table, and so here's a real chance for your Rezzies to actually put a win on the board.
It is. They also had their only win of the season, what we were saying before, against Dimbulla. So, big chance, few boys back. They got with obviously a few wins in the seniors. It puts a few senior fellas back into the reserves, which is what they haven't had all year. I feel like we've just been dragging players out of the reserves, and they haven't had anyone coming in, to be honest, the last 6 weeks. So that's probably why Turbo has had a bit bigger smile this week on a Thursday night. The big chance, solid midfield in this week. So I should get a bit more opportunities up forward, and hopefully we can kick a winning score.
A kicker-winning score. I reckon it'll start with Sam Felin, who's having a good season. Marshman's a good player there. Damo Cower also very good. Declan Brown makes his return to the twos, but in a backline position, which will be very good. You got some very good forward with Riley Lehman up there and Tristan Blair having a really good season. Okay, let's head to the 14s, and the kids here fancy themselves here. Now, they will come out and have a real dip because, as you mentioned, wins back early in the season. And if we go back to that, the Southern Mallee Giants had a win over Dimboola in the 14, 6-5 to 6 goals in the first game at Hopetoun. So the kids have been a bit chirpy on the track this week.
They have been up and about on the track, which is great to see because obviously, yeah, it's been sort of a tough month for those fellas now. They've played against some of the good Horsham teams and Ararat teams that have, got a lot of top-age players. So it's sort of, Dimboola, similar sort of numbers in the 14. So they get to play against, some of the boys that are similar size than they are, some of the younger, smaller fellas. So they're always a bit excited for that and always creates an opportunity. So, we've got a pretty handy side in as well. So, no reason why the boys can't knock the Roos off again.
All right, no reason why they can't. Last time they met, Kybe Bellinger kicked 3, and Spencer Williams and Kryson Burdett and Kybe Bellinger, Kodam Halley and Cody Frankel and Ollie Wood were in the better players. That was back in round number 1. It is, though, this weekend's round, and it's down at Dimboola, and it's on their home deck. But what a good game of footy it promises to be. It's going to be great to see if the kids can get another win in the under-14s. So nothing on after the game as such. Everyone goes back home, but it looks like there's still plenty of spirit in the club. Plenty of people out on Thursday night.
Yeah, there was a big crowd at training Thursday night, which was great to see. But also, I just wanted to mention this weekend, we've got a couple of milestones in the club, which is always, great to see. And rewards some loyalty for some players. Liam Price in the seniors, he plays his 200th game for the club, which is a terrific effort. There's not many that go around playing 200 games. You don't see that too often. So he's been a premiership player, captain of our club, and much loved player. He's coached before, coached under 14s recently. So what he's done for the club's been huge. Recently, in his time, and also Matt Garth McKenzie plays his 100th game. So make sure we're there nice and early for the reserves. He's a bit of a club legend, and everyone will get around him, no doubt. And it's terrific to see him play his 100th.
And tickets are available for the Black Tie Ball. You've got just today to get your act together and get the pre-sale price because it's just $70. And have you got your black tie sorted out there? Have you, Coleman? And the tuxedo? Are you all geared up?
I am all geared up, so man, I'm not giving away too many secrets on what I'll be wearing.
All right, black tie. So we'll wonder whether or not it's a bow tie. We'll have to wait and see whether Coleman Shack gives us a little bit more information on that before the big ball happens in a few weeks. So we'll look forward, though, to hearing a big win, hopefully, for the seniors down at Dimmy. You have a terrific weekend, Coleman.
Cheers,